All four indices still at records. All right, 59 days until President-elect Donald Trump takes the oath of office and assumes the presidency. It's also 59 days left for Mr. Trump to think about which campaign promise he plans to tackle first. Repealing Obamacare, ripping up the Iran nuclear deal, or building that, quote, big, beautiful wall on the border of Mexico. But this is touchy here. Does Donald Trump risk losing certain core groups of diehard supporters if he doesn't tackle their specific issue first? We bring in Deroy Murdock, a syndicated columnist, and Joe Lestingi, Democratic strategist, to talk about this. Gentlemen, I have my own guess on which one would annoy the largest group of people who really put him over the edge when it comes to the election. But Deroy, I'll let you go first. What does he have to tackle first?
Well, he can do a number of things, first, second, and third. And this is not like one year, the second year, the third year. These all can happen within the first 3-4 months. I think that'll satisfy everyone. But I think the most important and fastest thing he can do is repeal and replace Obamacare. I think that'll do more good for more Americans more quickly by getting this cancerous policy out of the way and replace it with something where people actually own and control their own insurance, can make their own decisions. And I think getting rid of Obamacare will increase people's personal finances and make the economy better as far as job creation capabilities of companies that no longer have this giant economic Megillah on their backs.
If you really, nice use of the Yiddish term, Deroy, if you really...
I live in New York, you pick it up.
You have to speak Yiddish if you live in New York.
Nice.
Joe, if you really think about it, he got some real turnaround velocity when he took on Obamacare and stuck with it. Kind of repeated the same lines over and over again, but he stuck with it in the final couple of weeks, and it worked for him. What do you, and I know he's not your guy, but what do you think he needs to tackle first that would perhaps propel him in the eyes of the people who got him where he is today?
Yeah. Well, Liz, I think you actually left one out. Don't forget about our special prosecutor. We're supposed to prosecute Hillary Clinton, and there's a lot of people out there who supported him that want to see that. So, but in terms of the actual policies he's going to have to work with Congress to get passed to fulfill his promises. I agree that the Obamacare one will be the biggest one, that if he does not pass and do right away, he's going to isolate a lot of his supporters, and they're going to start calling him out. And we as Democrats will start calling him out as well, because this was a promise that has been not only made by him, but by the Republican Party for the past 8 years. I mean, basically the entire Obama administration has been defined by this health care law. So he's got a lot of issues to tackle, and he's already rolling back a few things. Pre-existing conditions, a big hallmark part of Obamacare, is something he wants to keep. Allowing children under the age, or sorry, young adults under the age of 26 to stay on their parents' plans, something he wants to keep. He's got to deal with the Medicaid expansion issue and the 20 million people who have coverage there. Lots of questions that need to be answered, and we just haven't heard the answers yet. And I think that's what we're all waiting on right now.
We're 3 for 3. I would have said Obamacare because it was that, so as I said, velocity or momentum that really got him to the finish line here. I need to get to infrastructure, though, because he talked a lot about jobs. We're going to bring back jobs. We're going to create jobs. He's promised this $1 trillion in infrastructure. It's so fascinating to see that may be harder with Republicans in charge of both the Senate and the House, Deroy, because you even have Bill Schuster, who is the Republican from Pennsylvania, chair of the House Transportation Committee. He says it's got to be fiscally responsible. Donald Trump may have better luck on an infrastructure plan with Chuck Schumer, the Democratic senator.
I think it depends how they structure this. If it's another giant sop of cash, it's going to be problematic. But if it goes back to each state, as a block grant program, and specifically told, don't come up with brand new train systems and wonderful, monorails, but pick the 10 or 15 projects, your bridges, roads, tunnels that are about to collapse. Let's get the stuff shored up that's on the verge of breaking down. You may remember a few years ago there was a bridge I think near Minneapolis that collapsed, and all these people went into, I think, the Mississippi River.
It was crazy.
Yeah, let's address that stuff before we get into maglev programs and all that. And if it's done that way with some incentives so that contractors make more money if they finish up more quickly, or if they're penalized if they go slowly, that sort of a pro-market approach with incentives, I think, is something a lot of Republicans and conservatives could support.
Joe, what's Chuck Schumer thinking right now?
I think he's in a wait-and-see attitude, right? He wants to work with the other side. Democrats, for some reason, we are very, very eager to be bipartisan. But I'll tell you what, Chuck Schumer's got a very tough caucus to lead. The caucus has got to come together to either oppose some of their plans that they really fundamentally disagree with, but also to stay focused on making sure that projects are getting done, jobs are being created, because that's what they want to campaign on in 2 years. They've got to look for a path to the majority in 2018. They did pick up 2 seats this year. For all the hullabaloo and all that about the presidential race, Senate Democrats picked up 2 seats. They are really close to within striking distance, so they're balancing this bipartisan act with also keeping their base happy because in 2018, Donald Trump's not up.
Maggie Hassan and Tammy Duckworth got those 2 seats.
Yep.
Big deal. Joe Lestingi, thank you so much. Deroy Murdock, always good to see
Thanks
both
for
of
having
you.
us.